Alright, Parashat Re'eh. First of all, I want to tell you, they're signing supposedly a peace treaty with Israel and United Arab Emirates, and maybe another country. I think it's terrible. I mean, if you don't know why it's terrible, ask any Native American why it's bad to make peaceful land. Because they're supposed to annex the West Bank that belongs to Israel, and they sold it for peace. Now, I don't know what's worse, that, oh, hello Shalom, where's your beard? Here. I don't know what's worse, selling the land for a piece of paper, or selling the Bechorah, your first, the right for your first child, as Esav did for a bowl of lentils. Okay? Anyway, the light here is horrible. Parashat Re'eh. Parashat Re'eh is one of those very few parashiot in the Torah that there is no perush on the Zohar on them. And it means that not that somebody didn't write anything about it, but it means that there is a great hester, there's a great secret here, and a big cover-up on something that was not supposed to be revealed like that. So the name of the Parashat Re'eh, really connects us to the issue of Re'yav, to see. Lirot, Resh, Aleph, Hey, Re'eh is to see. If last week was Shama, Shmiyah, which you hear in your ears, this parasha is about the eyes, about looking, about the eyes. According to Kabbalah, Re'yah, eyes, and seeing, refers to the Sfera of Chokhmah. The Sfera of Chokhmah is a Sfera that is referred to the very raw and very, should I say, initiative type of energy. The light of Chokhmah, as we say, we're talking about a very strong energy, something that maybe if you dwell on it appropriately would wrap you the whole entire week. I mean, soon it's going to be Rosh Chodesh Elul, so we're going to understand that. The parasha starts with the words Re'eh Anochi Noten Lifnechem Hayom Baracha Uklala. I want to maybe focus, try to focus. I don't see where it takes us. We're not known for our great, we're not a highway basically. We are pathfinders. We go sometimes other places. Overlanders. You like that one, right? I want to try to focus maybe on the two words, Re'eh and Noten. And in relation to that, there is a wonderful, wonderful Dvar Torah of the Ohev Israel, which his name is the Rabbi Mi'opet. And he explains that when we are born, a lot of things are already predetermined. Don't jump. Besides those things who are dependent on your free choice. Everything that has to do with your free choice is not being predetermined. Everything else is. For example, you're going to be fat, you're going to be skinny, you're going to have this problem in your balls, you know. That's already predetermined. But anything that has to do with your free choice is not. For example, if the person is going to be a tzaddik or rasha, that's not determined. That's up to you. And we get up every morning to deal with emotions, with feelings that allows us to choose every single day between bracha and klala, between a blessing and a curse. And that is the real essence of our life that we have to deal with, and we have to understand that that's what the rabbi from Opt is trying to tell us. And he adds on, and he's really medayek on referring to what he's saying, based on what he's saying, on the word Natan. Or Noten, to that matter. As he says, Anochi Noten Lifnechem. And the word noten in Hebrew is nun, taf, and nun, but nun sofit. It's a palindrome. You can read it in Hebrew from both ways. You can read it from right to left, and from left to right. And it's going to be the same. It's not going to change the meaning of the word. And it teaches us that HaKadosh Baruch Hu has one purpose. And the purpose is, as we all know, lehetiv libruav, to make good with his creations. And the way HaKadosh Baruch Hu relate to us, his hashpa'ah, what he is giving to us, is only good. And if you have this, and now you understand that when you see something as a bracha or a klala, and we spoke about it also before, we spoke about it in relations to Tisha B'Av and all these things, whether you see something as a bracha or a klala, whether it's a blessing or a curse, in other words, the way in which you relate to what we call reality we should relate, is up to you. Is the way you prescribe it. Because everything that comes from Hashem is good. Gam zu letova. This is also good. You decide if it's good or bad. You are the one who determine what your reality, because that's in your control. So the Ohev Israel writes, and he calls it ha'emet ve'asheker. The way in which we relate and we acted to situations that came upon in our lives is emet or sheker. The sheker, the lie, the false, is what we deal with the nonsense, with the things that are not important, in the small details of life that really overload our system to the point that we can't tell anymore right from wrong. For example, who said what to whom? Who said what to whom? Did you hear what he said? Did you hear what she said? You know, and then you see it today in all those like tweets and all those culture that took away substance from anything that anybody has to say. Oh, the president tweeted that. I don't care what he twisted. I don't care what he tweeted, not twisted. Yeah, he twisted his tweeted, whatever. I don't care. Do you have a message to tell me? Today we run the destiny of millions by tweets. It's terrible. It's terrible. There's no substance. Nobody can come up with a vision. It's 2-second words like, I'm angry, hashtag. It's stupid. It's much stupid. Somebody told me today, he said, the Rambam died, Maimonides died a very young man. How is it possible that dying so young he was able to do such a tremendous work? So the answer is he didn't have to deal with what they call a shver Rambam. You know, like there's a small Rambam that I'm occupying myself for the whole entire year about what the Rambam says. And we occupy ourselves with like crumbs instead of like eating the whole meal. And it's a culture that we all affected by. Or for example, why did he say what he said? Well, I don't care what he said. Why this has happened? And why this, where was God when he is, and why? How is this going to make effect in your life? That's going to make effect in your life. By the way, you also can be to get angry, to give up. That's nonsense. That's focusing on falseness. That's what Rav Nachman says. En yush ba'olam. Can't give up. What do you mean give up? Ma elecha emunah in HaKadosh Baruch Hu, you don't believe in God? What do you mean you're giving up? He doesn't go here, go there. Doesn't go there, go there. Doesn't go there, go there. Can go up and down, whatever you want. To give up, oh, I give up. I can't do this anymore. What do you mean you can't do it anymore? That's for losers. If you're a loser, that's a falseness. To feel miserable. Oh, poor me. To feel entitled. Poor me. The whole concept of I deserve it, entitled. And if you don't give it to me, I'm going to spray paint the streets with kind of letters of the ABC that starts like Bureau of Land Management. It's like, what are you feeling for yourself? had experienced what the Jews had experienced? Anybody who was gassed like cockroaches? Anybody who was expelled and being chased for 2,000 years out of the country? We didn't give up. Why should anybody give up? Go get up, do something. Instead of saying, oh, poor me, I deserve. Get up and do something. That is occupying yourself with the falseness, with the lie, because you don't see things. You chose it this way. You chose to look at things this way. Oh, this, I can't, it's too much for me. I can't, Rabbi, I don't have time to teach. What do you mean you have time to teach? You have 24 hours to in a day. Find time to teach. I mean, teaching Torah is very important. And I'll show you why. The truth is when we are able, when we're successful to enter those situations and to bring about to this situation a certain enlightenment, a certain light, a certain he'ara, enlightenment. Into the darkness we were able to strike a match, just like the Maccabim, just like the Hashmonaim. In the darkness we're able to find something. In those difficult times, Jews were able to always get up and do something, revive and do something. That's why the Jews were successful. As long as we were able to take this initiative of, okay, it doesn't go here, we'll go there. It doesn't go here, we'll go there. We're going to go there, we're going to make this place better. We're going to show you. You don't understand what I'm saying? Fine, go look in history. Look what happened to Spain after the Jews left, and look what happened to Turkey after the Jews entered. Go look. I'm not making it up. Go look at history. And history doesn't like Jews, but go look. So, and that's why we need to be focused all the time with our thoughts about the truth, to find the good. We have to understand that when we focus ourselves on the truth, then we become a kli, we become a vessel. We become a vessel for the light, for the enlightenment of HaKadosh Baruch Hu into this world. And therefore the light of HaKadosh Baruch Hu would dwell on us all the time. And we need to understand that when you are in the state of enlightenment, of Re'eh Anochi, see, I am giving you, you are always under a light that is endless light, that is not a discriminative light that just gives and gives and gives and gives. The question is, what do I do? What do I do with this lightning? So the Mekubalim explained to us there are two different types of light. There is a direct light and there is a reflective light. The direct light is a light that comes directly from its source, and it's also called light of Chokhmah. That's why we says Re'eh goes with Chokhmah. So that's why Re'eh, look what I'm telling you. That's the direct light I'm giving you today. First of all, what am I giving you? I'm giving you bracha. First of all, I'm giving you bracha. Tistakel. HaKadosh Baruch Hu say, Anochi, I give you bracha. So that light of Chokhmah, as we said before, it's raw energy, very concentrated raw energy. And its nature is really to really like char, and because it's very hard. So, and besides it, that's called Ora Tzamot and Ora Chaim, right? So it's still very raw. So the only way to receive this light of Chokhmah and to hold on to it, you're going to tell me, one second, you tell me that I should receive this light, but this light will charm me, you just said, like a barrel of bourbon will charm me. Don't I tell you, yes? There is a way to hold it without being burnt. And to realize, the only way to do so is to realize that it's not yours. That it's not yours. And the only way to hold this light is to know that it's not yours, and that everything that you have, and anything that you will be yours, but is what you would choose to give to the others. So if you choose to give chokhmah to others, that chokhmah would stay in you. If you are chacham and you choose not to share this chokhmah, this wisdom with others, nothing. It will char you. It will burn you. You'll be useless. The same thing goes with your money. You have money. You have to understand this is not your money. It was given to you. You're going to keep it to yourself tight. You're not going to share it with others. I'm not saying share it, that now you got to text me 90% and everybody else. I'm not talking about this. Do something good with it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu chose you for a reason, so I'm going to do something about it. Don't elevate yourself. It's not because you're so good. It's because HaKadosh Baruch Hu chose you. Now you have a job to prove. Share it with others. You're not going to share it with others. It's going to be a curse for you. It will char you. It will burn you because you're dealing with raw energy. It gives you a bracha. You don't know what to do with it. And when we take the direction and we reverse it from the will to give to ourselves and all, to the will, to receive, to the will to give to others, I want to share it to others, you are therefore creating a new type of light. And that's called a reflective light. In other words, if we want something that is going to be yours, whether it's going to be light, power, wisdom, and so on and so forth, you first of all have to make sure that others have it as well. You could be the greatest sage in the world. And not like Salvia Devano, just sage, chacham, right? But you live in the desert somewhere in, south of the border, somewhere in the Chihuahua desert. What good do you do to anybody? It's almost like Zen, if a tree falls in the forest, anybody hears it. Or did he make a sound, or whatever it is. If there is a sage sitting in the Sonoran desert, what good does it do to anybody? Anybody realize he's smart? Nobody realizes. How do you realize that you're smart? You share it with others. Take the people. Teach them. Share it with them. Don't say, Ani ayef midai. I'm so tired. That's like, you're so tired. Yeah, you're so tired like the Rambam, that they had to put the Rambam on the donkey. He was so tired, the donkey will go home. He would fall asleep on the donkey. They lift him up. He couldn't go. He was tired. He still did not stop him to become the Rambam. Did you ever realize how hard it is to have a yeshiva? Ask your anyone, your menayel, your what it is. When you go to home, you do your homework and you go complain. They have to worry about it. And still does not stop them from doing what they're doing. Why is it stopping you? Why is the fact that I'm so tired? I don't want to do this anymore. HaKadosh Baruch Hu chose you. He gave you an opportunity to teach. He gave you people to teach. Why aren't you teaching? Wait, guys, you don't think that I want to sit down by the beach somewhere with this like white hat like this with a Panama hat like this, a nice cigar in my hand, a little mojito or something cool like this, or maybe margarita, nice margarita. I like margaritas. I make the best margaritas. Don't you think it would be nice? I would like to sit like that, like this, and like the breeze coming out like that, maybe some fish cooking. You think I don't want to do it? I would have to do it. But I'm going to be stupid to do it when I have you guys to teach. It's obvious. I could do it. Nobody's stopping me from doing it. But I choose to do this. But how about you? Why are you feeling so miserable about yourself? If you don't want to give, you should know one thing. You're never going to have. You're never going to have. And we need to understand that we cannot allow ourselves to be the end. Sof. In other words, HaKadosh Baruch Hu gave you what it is, chokhmah, money, but it ends here. In other words, it does not continue further. You don't share your knowledge with others. You don't share your wealth with others. You are the end. You can't allow to do so. Why? Because the light cannot sit in a kli that is clogged. It needs to be a pipe that goes through. You become a main vein. You become an artery of wealth to this world. And that's what really happened to us when we realized that we have to live by the truth. And when our actions are accompanied by a kavanah, by a direction, to do hashpa'ah, to be influence people, to share with people, to do nachat ruach, to not only like the Kadosh Baruch Hu, not to give him like a Jewish nachas, we call it Yiddish nachas. What happened to Sephardic nachas? There's no such thing, right? But okay, you know what I'm saying. When you choose to do that, making somebody else happy, helping somebody else, sharing from your time from yourself. Oh, excuse me, I'm on a clock here. I don't really have time. I charge $125 for 35 minutes of session. We off right now. But dear counselor, I have something. I'm sorry. Next time. That's a curse. You choose life of sheker. HaKadosh Baruch Hu chose you to be a psychologist. So give the guy another. Who are you doing this for? You're doing this Learn from Hanoch. Hanoch did everything for Hashem. So give the person another 35 minutes. What's the gift? Give him on the house. He has a problem. But you only think that if you're not going to do so, you're going to lose money. Well, you're going to lose money. Who gives you the opportunity to make money if it's not God? Do Kiddush Hashem. Let's say you have Gentiles who come into you as psychologists, psychiatrists, whatever the heck you are. What is a tremendous Kiddush Hashem if you're never going to look at the clock and the guy says, oh, I see, okay, we have to go. No, it's okay, stay for 10 more minutes, it's okay, let's talk a little bit more. I want you to go happy from here. The guy's going to go and say, wow, it's amazing, the guy just gave me 10 minutes, give me another half an hour, didn't charge me, it's okay, it's on the house. You want to talk about Parnasa? That's how you do it. How you do it? Because Kiddush Hashem. You go like this, oh, that's the guy, yes, he's good, but you know what, let me tell you, on the clock, punt on the time, he goes up and let's go, let's pack up. I'm surprised he didn't press a button for me to eject me out of the place right on the spot. I was amazed, and I told you this before, I was amazed by, she doesn't listen to that, but it's fine. By my physical therapist, usually they give you what, I don't know, 35 minutes. Sometimes she gives me an hour and a half. And I feel very bad. And I said to her, listen, how do you do that? And she says to me, I do it for God. And I said, oh my goodness, And the problem is, the thing is she's not Jewish. And I'm saying, we have a chance, we don't do this. We stingy people, on our time because I'm too tired. There's no such thing, I'm too tired. Imagine the Kadosh Baruch Hu say, guys, I'm not only too tired, I'm too tired of you, Chas v'shalom. It's not too tired, push yourself. I don't see you too tired sitting down watching YouTube or Netflix or, I don't know what, Mission X or Overlanding X or whatever it is that you're watching, Stupid Housewife from Long Island City, I don't know, whatever it is, you're watching. I don't know what you guys are watching, How many times you can watch Gordon Ramsay, like flipping up and throwing it? It's enough. For that, you're not tired. You're not tired to sit down with a glass of bourbon, like a little bit on the rocks like this, if you like it neat. But for that, you're not tired to teach people, to share from the opportunity that God gave you, that you are tired. Don't tell me all of a sudden people say, oh, wife, you think I don't have a wife and kids? I have a wife and kids. So what? Well, what example would I give my kids if I don't want to share what I have? How would I teach my kids? Baruch Hashem, my son is following he's probably doing it better than me. It could not make me happier. And I don't hold it for myself. I'm thankful for him, but I'm also thankful for God for showing me the way to do things. Now, how about you? Why are you going to tell your kids? Sharing is important when you never did anything? And for you everything was for money? They do something for free. You see how it is. You see what bracha you have in your life. And when you do that, the whole machshava, the whole concept that God had about, I'm going to pick up the pace here, that God picks up about creation, what we call lehetiv lanivraim, we're doing okay with time, to make good for the people, you become, this is scary. When you do good to people, when you are about your business every day to do good to people, to teach those who are not as fortunate as you to learn. You are the reason the world was created, because the world was created because God wanted to make good for the people, for His creation. You are the vehicle that allows this to happen. And you dare to turn it down? What's wrong with you? Seriously. What's wrong with you? You should come after this and say, Rabbi, where can I sign? I want to do things for free. The reason why the world was created is for people like you. You are the continuation. Yadi keyado. You just think about this. It's ridiculously crazy. You become an extension of the hand of God. He chose you. He said, hey, sorry, I said, no. I just don't believe that. It's crazy. In other words, doing so would allow you to connect yourself to tremendous lights. And then that light would able to fix us and cleanse us to become, HaKadosh Baruch Hu will have you, because you want to make things out. HaKadosh Baruch Hu needs to help you clean up. So you're able to give up on your selfishness, which is the worst midah that you have. And then you're going to get more light, and so on and so forth. And the level of selfishness would really determine if the shefa, the abundance that we receive from HaKadosh Baruch Hu, is going to become klala, curse, or bracha. How selfish you are, that's how it's going to be determined. And the reality of our life is very subjective. There's a tremendous duality in our life. That zigzag that we go, the in and out of the lanes between bracha and klala is really dependent on us. It's very subjective, depends on you. So we started with Re'eh, and the parasha ends up in the issue of Nevi Sheker, of a false Messiah, to remind us that we don't really know what is it we see, if it's true, if it's the right thing that we see, or it's the wrong thing that we see. But the only glasses or the lenses that we put on our hands, on our faces, to be able to measure all the time, and these are the lenses in which we could look in reality and to determine if it's emet or sheker, if it's a bracha or klala, starts first of all with the glasses ve'ahavta l're'echa kamocha. You want people to help you? Help other people. Put those glasses on your head. That lenses of love and compassion, of that circle motion. You help others, others will help you. You help others, that's the way it goes, right? In other words, receiving in order to give. Receiving in order to give. Need to put the glasses of Torah. Without examining everything in the eyes of the Torah. And first of all, the whole entire thing is based on ve'ahavta l're'echa kamocha. So therefore it has to be, that's the only way to do so. And don't tell me that you have the lenses of Torah when you choose not to share your Torah with somebody else. I mean, that's the biggest oxymoron out there. And that's the way you need to go. So the parasha starts with the word re'eh and really focuses us on the koach of the re'ah. In a way, last week was nishma, right? Shema. Here is re'eh. Na'aseh v'nishma. Here is the order reverse. First we have to ro'im, we have to see everything. So first over there was nishma, there is re'eh. And this is the ability of our ability to see in the avodah ruchanit, in the spiritual work that we do. How do we use our eyes? What do we usually see? Do you watch TV? Do you watch the news? Do you watch good reality? Guys, disconnect yourself from TV. If you have a TV at home, I don't care what are you going to tell me. There is no reason for any of you, or any of us, because I will include it because I don't have a TV at home, that you should have a TV at home. The TV at home is a tool that teaches you passively, you're handed over the right to change the way you look about life. Disconnect yourself from the TV. I wonder how many of you actually took my challenge that until Rosh Hashanah you're not going to listen to any news or any TV or something like this. And I think probably most of you didn't. Try it. Guys, you have 1 month. Disconnect. Don't have TV at home. Turn off the TV. You don't need to watch Discovery Channel. Oh, I'm only watching Discovery Channel. I'm only watching Disney. I'm just watching Gordon Ramsay making coffee. And playing with the doggy. No TV. No news. It's all shekel anyway. It's all a lie. Do you see a bracha in your life? When you look around you, do you see a bracha in your life? Are you looking at what you have? Is your focal point is on the kindness of God giving you what you have, or you absolutely obsessed on what you don't have? Most people are always concerned with what they don't have, and they don't even spend a minute looking at what they have. And the same thing, you know. So in other words, what I want to tell you is, on what frequency does your eyes work? On the frequency of bracha or the frequency of klala or curse? What is that you really see? These are the questions that each and every one of us should really contemplate inside and so on and so forth. And really examine it yourself. So the Mekubalim tells us something, a tremendous something. So naturally, our eyes are able to see misofa olam v'atzafa. We're able to see things, in other words, we're able to see the future. If you have a clear sight, in other words, not only glasses or not glasses, you're able to see the patterns of things, how things will happen. You're able to be able to see what's going to happen at the end of time. And that depends on how much you fine-tune the frequency of your eyes. The problem is that most of us are not aware of our ability to see like that in reality. And in reality, we're only aware of like a minute, promille of what is really in front of our eyes. We don't really see. There's a lot of things that our eyes see and we don't see. And we only use, as much as we use a very limited amount of our brain capacity, we also use very minimal ability of our eyes to see. And again, to see is to identify the sheker, the lie, where's the truth. A person doesn't pay attention to the things that pass in front of your eyes. And the most important thing is the time that passes by. You just don't pay attention. All of a sudden you look around and your son is already a daddy. And you get confused for a second because you hold this child and say, one second, who am I holding here again? Is this him or is this child? The time goes like this. We don't pay attention to anything. A person can read the whole entire chapter in a book, and it happens to most of us. And the words, you read the words, but they don't really understand the meaning. And so just like, you gazing, you see the words, but that doesn't penetrate into your head. That's why this re'eh, which is a commandment, comes to us on the re'iyah, on seeing. And maybe that's the baracha that Moshe Rabbeinu is giving us on re'iyah, on seeing, that you should know and you should always remember that HaKadosh Baruch Hu is showing you everything. HaKadosh Baruch Hu does not hide anything for you. It's the same things I'll tell you when you go to shidduch. When you go to meet a nice girl, right, for a shidduch. HaKadosh Baruch Hu make you see everything beforehand. You choose to close your eyes for it. That's if she has a bad midah, I don't know. She picks her nose in the middle of the thing, or she chews tobacco and she spits like this, if you think it's bad, right? However, her daddy is loaded rich. Don't tell me you didn't see that. You just close your eyes to it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu makes you see it. When you choose to acknowledge, so therefore there's a difference between what we're able to see, which we see everything, to our acknowledgement. And we don't want to acknowledge that. So that's the baracha that he's telling us. And we need to really operate our sense of sight appropriately to be able to teach ourselves to see the spiritual aspect of everything. And for that, there's also halachot. There's halachot of shmirat ha'einayim, and so on and so forth, in order to keep your spiritual, how should I call it, the spiritual sight, spiritual ability, spiritual sight, I don't know, you should be able to see things spiritually, I don't know, whatever the heck you want to call this. You really have to do certain things. And this parasha also, we are also commanded on certain ma'achalot asurot, certain forbidden foods, because it says the metamtem etalem. Metamtem doesn't make you stupid. It's a tomb. It seals your heart. It seals your spiritual to be able etalev, in order not to be able to see the truth in your heart. Your heart knows, but you seal the truth from coming out. The heart knows what's right and what's wrong. You know what's right and what's wrong. But you choose to put your heart in a lead vault, so nothing would emerge out. It would keep it inside, so you're disconnecting your heart from your existence. So all this ma'achalot asurot do it to you. And when you eat, and that's when you, by the way, it starts with cutting. If I'm going to tell anyone, say, you know what, eat pig. I'm not eating pig. Even if it's not the Shomer Shabbat person, I don't eat pig, I'm a Jew. Eat some gelatin, it's not really, it would start with cutting corners. And slowly, that cutting corners becomes a spiritual cholesterol that clogs your spiritual artery to the point you get a heart attack and then you slip out. Then one time you find yourself like nibbling on like a whole ham like this, eating the whole thing. You become spiritually and say, oh, you know, somebody said to me, well, there's nothing wrong for me to go to India and I'm going to eat chapati in the streets and I'm going to eat food because they only cook vegan. They don't cook vegan. They cook with ghee. They don't check for bugs. But it starts with that. And it happens slowly, and your divine ability to see, your divine sight is getting ruined. So the parasha says, that word comes to really awaken us that this commandment, like the rest of the Torah, is eternal and it touches you also today. It's applicable to us today. As we says that every single day, Bat Kol Yotzet Mechorev from Har Sinai, as it says, Shuvu Banim Shovavim. In other words, it's trying to wake us to do the tshuva, to do Avodat Hashem every single day. And that, in this pasuk that we start this parasha, the Torah calls us to see every single day the special mission which is given to each and every one of us individually in that particular day. And the mission could change every single day. And the mission could come, all of a sudden somebody comes to you and says to you, listen, I have a great idea. You're such a, savvy driver. Why don't you just help me out and give some, Shabbos meal? I'm busy. I gotta go change some diapers. I have kids. But it's okay. That was your opportunity today. You were supposed to give something from yourself, but you chose not to. Even more so for Torah. Even more so for Torah. HaKadosh Baruch Hu had to turn heaven and earth. HaKadosh Baruch Hu had to turn heaven and earth from the time of creation until today, because everything is a chain reaction, so you will be in Bet Medrash. When you choose to come out of Bet Medrash or not to arrive in Bet Medrash, you're going to be asked for it. And what you're going to say? I was too tired. I couldn't do it. My mother needed me to clean the bathroom. My grandfather had the yahrzeit. He's dead! You get to go to Askara, some dead person. You want to do something good with the niftar. Come and learn. In Shamayim, they're going to show him two pictures. One is his grandson sitting in the yeshiva learning the Leilui Nishmat, my grandfather, and so on and so forth. And the other one, all the other people in the family eating, ochlim, v'shotim, right? Like Seudat HaChashverosh. Which one do you think your grandfather is going to be happy? Don't answer me. We know the answer. And the best way to know what's your mission today is to, first of all, to recognize and to see that everything is what we call Havaya Achat. One essence. Havaya, the Shem of Hashem. Yud Kei Vav Kei. Havaya also means it's one thing. And in that, to remember the words of the Baal Shem Tov, actually the Talmud of the Baal Shem Tov, the Magid Mimezrich, on the pasuk Melaa Haaretz Kinyanecha, Melaa Haaretz, pay attention, Melaa Haaretz Kinyanecha, it's in Tehillim Kuv Daled, that the whole entire earth, the whole entire Haaretz, the whole entire universe, filled with things that by them you could, quote unquote, acquire God. You can find God in everything. And we just need to see what's the internal situation or reality of that particular path that we're about to see. I could make a kinyan on the Kadosh Baruch Hu in many different ways. I just need to want to do that. And I need to identify how to do that. And as the Netivot Shalom writes, it says, Tir'u, and according, Tir'u utitbonenu heitev, look and contemplate very carefully, bechol ha'me'oraot, and all the things that happen, asher anochi, noten lifnechem bechol yom vayom, which I give to you every single day. Asher hema kriya uvat kol miyuchedet. It's a special call in a heavenly voice to awaken the Jew lemale tafkido bayom hazeh, to do his job in this particular day. Every single day, another heavenly voice. Because every single day is a different job. You want job security, guys? Okay, sign up to work for God. You're never going to be unemployed. And you're always going to get paid. And you don't need to worry about checks. And look at the Netivot Shalom. So what do we see? We see good or bad. We see bracha, blessing or curse. And that parasha really also gives us a whole list, by the way, of fault. A list of birds that are not kosher. It's very interesting. And the Torah says like this, and we almost finished. It says, Kol tzipor te'ora tochelu. Everything, every kosher bird or fowl you eat. So first of all, why is people always complaining, I can't have this, I want to have, but yeah, you can eat, there are more kosher animals than non-kosher animals. I don't know, well, that's a problem that we have always with that. But never mind. It says, Ve'zeh asher lo tochlu mim. And this is what you're not going to eat from. Which one? Hanesher, ve'aperes, ve'aozniya, ve'are'a, ve'et'aya, ve'hadaya lemina, ve'et kol ha'orev lemino. These are the animals, the birds in which you're not going to eat. From the internal, from the tzad ha'pnimiyut, you could say in general that any baal chai, any living creature that is asur be'achila, comes from a certain midah that is not able to eat, is dependent on some quality or some bad quality that this animal does not have, that the animal actually has, that the Torah is warning us not to eat them because that thing is going to come into us, because we do say afterwards you are what you eat, right? We all know that, right? As much as you understand, and today we can understand this better, that how is that we eat certain things or we consume certain things, it could affect our DNA, right? And then chas v'shalom, it can cause cholesterol and heart attacks and cancer and so on and so forth, right? Now, it's very easy for us to understand today. Kadosh Baruch Hu did a tremendous chesed with us, that also certain things with certain spiritual qualities would affect your spiritual DNA. And as much as a person can have chas v'shalom cancer because he smokes cigarettes, if you do consume certain things that are not kosher, would affect your spiritual DNA. So you're going to get a spiritual cancer. It's very simple. I don't understand. What's so difficult to understand that? So one of the birds in which comes in the list is a certain bird that's called re'eh. In other words, re'eh, like re'eh in this parasha, right? So the Baal Shem Tov says, it says in the Gemara, sheshma shel hatzipor re'eh. The name of the bird is re'eh. Why? מפני שעומדת בבבל ורואה נבלה בארץ ישראל. It's in Masechet Chulin. It stays in Babylon and it sees a dead animal. It's a kind of a vulture. It sees an animal in Israel. It will go from there. And he says, Elu bnei Adam ha'ovdim beBavel. These are the people who stayed in Babylon. Now Babylon is also like Babylon, Instead, Bavel Mishum Bilbul. They are in a state of confusion. They are in a state of a emotional and, should I say, spiritual confusion. And they are immersed in the sitra achara. They're immersed in the evil inclination, in impurity. And they look in Eretz Israel and they see bad things about it. They don't see good things about it. And that Eretz Israel is represented by the tzaddikim and Chasidei Ador that are called Eretz Israel. So if you cannot go to Israel, according to the Baal Shem Tov, medabek yourself in a person who is a tzaddik, and he will be like you, medabek yourself in Eretz Israel. And we are a door, we are in a generation that on that we says, Hoi ha'omrim lara tov, we are in a generation that calls the good bad and the bad good. And it says, guys, you better watch out from this kind of generation. We put samim choshech le'or ve'or lechoshech. We say whatever is light is dark, whatever is dark is light. It's like many people that say, the Torah is dark, it's old. Samim mar lematok umatok lemar. They call bitter sweet and sweet bitter. And if you don't know where it is, it's in Yeshaya, in Isaiah, chapter 5, verse 20. So are we like this bird that stands in a tremendous state of confusion, of reality, of our generation, and we see the darkness as light and the light as darkness? Are we like the people who see the mitzvot of the Torah as prohibitions, as a burden, rather than an opportunity to get closer to Hashem? We see ourselves as people that try to find ways to run away from the Torah instead of running towards the Torah, towards the HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Are we the people, instead of seeing wisdom in the Torah, we see it as something that is obsolete and old and primitive? or we slowly able to cleanse ourselves, to clarify our soul, to remove this fog in order to develop this internal sight, to see spirituality inside, to see God in everything, in everywhere. To see that what is happening to us is light. And the pleasures of this world that everybody's running, everybody's crying, oh, we can't fly! Okay, you can't fly! Well, so what? What, you're a bird? You can't fly! Not everybody can fly. And what do you think that it was a problem for us? And again, that's maybe what we should have learned through Corona. That what you thought is such a wonderful thing is actually darkness, because you never had time for your family. And now that you have to stay home with your family, that's the actual light. That you see who is your friend, who is not your friend. Do we see the Torah and the mitzvot through the light, or we see the Torah and mitzvot through the darkness? This parasha gives us a chance and gives us the power to be able to see things appropriately, to be able to see things in the right way, to be able to see things in a spiritual way. And it's about time that we're going to tap into this power. Shabbat Shalom.
Yeah.